Hang on. This is gonna be a little bit rough. Normally when I stream, I I have to like log out of Streamlabs and log all the way back into a completely different account, and everything's different over here. But hi, this is like, it's a scene. It's not the scene I'm looking for. This is not brought to you by Rockstar Energy. Shout out, you know, if you Rockstar want to sponsor. We're looking for an energy drink sponsor. Thank you guys so much for being here. My name is Donnie. This is RotoMoto, formerly RotoX Fantasy. Bear with me as I get everything set up. I actually haven't. This is the very first time I've used the green screen in the new office. We just moved a few months ago. I think we've been here for about 2 months now. But thank you guys so much for being here for the first one ever. How was the show? Did anybody have any trouble watching NBC's Supercross preview show? Because I did. I still have an active NBC Sports Gold Pass. I am a Peacock subscriber, but I don't actually have cable, so they didn't want to let me watch it. And I'm like, I literally pay you guys twice. I'm paying you in 2 completely separate ways. But they're like, yeah, but do you have the third way though? We need the third way. It honestly feels like going to the DMV. You gotta let me fly. Absolutely, Harper. Let me get the playlist switched over. I have another playlist. So we don't listen to the same song on repeat. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it doesn't suck. It was all right. Do you B-Hood, do you happen to watch F1 at all? I feel like they're trying to do Travis Marks. So F1 is a Netflix show that's called Drive to Survive, and it kind of like tries to pump up the drama. And I think that's probably what they're going for, is they're trying to get that casual fan interest by having it be on NBC. But they just don't really, I don't know. I would love to have a non-fan. If you guys have a non-fan in your life, have them watch that and see how they think about it. Samantha Marie, hello. What's your guys' usernames if I don't know? Obviously, I know Travis Marks, and Samantha is Rose Golden Moto. Dave S, is that the Dave S? But thank you so much for being here and hanging out. So RotoX Fantasy, we're now RotoMoto. Whatever, it's semantics. I really just mostly I want to change the name because RotoX is a lot like RacerX. I didn't want anybody thinking that I was trying to get any of that going on. So we did a brief little rebrand there. New logo. Let me know how you guys like. I hate the green screen. It cuts off right here. It cuts off right there. That's me, 3 Smoke. I thought so. Is the command changed? Harper, I'm not sure what you mean. Sorry, I'm doing all the social medias here. Who did they end it with? Oh no, there's no commands yet, Harper, because I don't have a chat bot for YouTube. It's a completely different one. So who did they end it with? So my free preview ran out after Dylan. Or Dylan wasn't even all the way over. It was just, I think Dylan was where we were in the middle of. Do you guys think that was kind of a power ranking? Because they gave us Eli, then they gave us Cooper, then they gave us Zach, then Kenny, then AC, then Anderson, I think. Like, it almost felt like they were kind of giving us power rankings in a way. I definitely took note of the order that they spit them out to us. I don't know if you guys took that. But it's something to notice. Austin Tiller, hello, ready for the new season? Absolutely. So Pulp MX Fantasy will be booting up. Marks, when's handicaps out? When's the app happening? You're gonna get hounded on two different shows here. I expect handicaps on Wednesday or Thursday. I will have the video out Friday morning for those of you that watch the videos, the RotoMoto fantasy preview videos. I would have them out sooner if we can, but by Friday morning is the absolute latest you guys can expect it. Also, I will be doing a podcast very shortly with Denny Stevenson. I might even do it right after the show. If you guys don't know Denny Stevenson, he's the 1990 125 Supercross champion, East Supercross champion on a Suzuki. He actually did some announcing. He worked for ESPN. He did Speed World. He was right alongside Ralph, I think in Ralph's very first year, wasn't it? I think it was his first year. I'm going to talk to Denny. Denny has his own fantasy format that's starting back up this year called... It's, let me, MotoXDream360.com. Okay. I had to make sure I got it right because there's words in there. So I'm going to be talking to Denny about his fantasy. He did this neat off-season fantasy, which was pretty cool, where we did old races. He did a race from 2017, 2018, 2019 every week, and you had to pick a guy. So if you picked Jason Anderson, then you obviously knew that you were going to get a decent score in 17, his championship in 18, but then 19 he got injured. So you had to kind of use, it was weird knowing the results in your head, but you didn't know which race, you just knew how good they did for each year. So that was pretty neat, but I'm going to talk to Denny about that. Hopefully that podcast will go up for Patreon subscribers the second it's done. So those of you guys that are already on the Patreon, I know 3 Smoke is in there. I'm not sure if anybody else. I know Marks is in there. I'll have the podcast up immediately for Patreon subscribers, so you guys will get that ASAP, and then I will have the I'll have it up for public release later in the week. I will say the production value is probably going to be a little lighter this year. If you guys watched the video I posted yesterday about the upcoming season, but with us having 3 races in 8 days, it's going to be a lot. So I'm probably going to have the videos be a little less graphics, a little less stuff on the screen, because it's going to take me... I'm not going to have as much time as I expect to get all of the data crunched and ready to go. No, you can't. No cats. No cats on this show. Absolutely not. No cats. It's fine. Thank you. I'm actually working on a video. I recorded the audio for it this morning. I'm gonna have to redo a little bit of it with my face involved, but the just audio part I got done. So we're gonna do have the cat on. You know what, Tasha? That's actually a great idea. We'll have the cat someday. Sometimes the cat's good, and sometimes the cat will sit right here next to me and be good, but also other times the cat wants to rub face against microphone and try to get down in my lap and things like that. You know that's the best and the worst thing ever. But I'm gonna have a video up. I'm gonna do a lot of people are very critical on the top 10 list that the official Supercross put out. The power rankings I think they started doing last year. It's just, oh man, I don't know. It feels like a joke, but I sat down to do it, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it was really hard. It's really hard to try to sit down and rank the riders and make it. There's just so many good riders this year in the 450 class. Like, obviously we've got the returning 12 factory riders, because you've got Monster Energy Kawasaki. I'm gonna consider Star Yamaha as a returning team, even though it's kind of different. Star Yamaha, Red Bull KTM, Rockstar Husqvarna, and HRC Honda, and then we're adding Gas in with Justin Barcia, so that makes 13 riders that are on factory equipment. And then you have to add in the fact of Joey Savacci and Justin Bogle are on Rocky Mountain, which they're not factory per se, but they're definitely factory level equipment, and that team has won races in the last 2 seasons. And then if you want to go by that route, you've got to add in Moto Concepts Honda, because Justin Brayton won a race on a Moto Concepts 3 years ago, so obviously it's good equipment. There are 19 guys that realistically could win a race, and that's absurd. That's just insane to me. So I was trying to do the lists like everybody else had to, and no matter how you cut it, people are going to be mad, because you're going to leave off, you know, race winners, factory guys. It's insane. It's actually literally insane. But I'll have that guys out for you soon. Hopefully tomorrow with any luck. But I'm going to expect more like Monday is probably a more likely thing. Who do you guys have for the title. Does anybody want to put any kind of wagers on it? You want to put an over/under on title hopes? Is Eli gonna repeat? Is Cooper gonna take it back? Are we gonna get a new one? So interesting, we have had 4 different Supercross champions in the last 4 seasons. There has never been 5 years with 5 different champions. So if AC or Zach possibly could come in and pull this out, that would mean 5 champions in 5 years going all the way back out to Dungey. Wouldn't that be wild to think of? It's Marv's year. Chris is a Marv fan. Chris, how did you feel about them putting Marv so low on the power rankings? 10th place is cruel. That was just absolutely cruel. Like, I think everybody has their own favorites, but 10th, I thought was very harsh. Very, very harsh. Zach has a good chance. I'm with you. I'm with you. Austin, a bet on Eli not getting it. I agree. I don't think I have a good argument why he's not the favorite. But I just think that he's the favorite because he has the highest percentage, but his percentage pie is still like 25% chance. You know what I mean? And then you've got Cooper at a 20%, Zach at an 18, and then like Kenny and AC at like 15, and then like it's all good and bad after that. You know what I mean? Total BS, absolutely. 3 Smoke, Dave, are you a Cooper Webb fan? Who's your guys'? I actually want to ask some stuff on Twitter, but I don't want to be controversial. I don't want to get people in trouble, so I haven't yet. Give me 2 riders you love to root for, and give me 2 riders that you, I wouldn't say root against, but that you don't root for, that you specifically take them or leave them, you don't care. Like, I am always gonna root for AC. The guy is just. He's just too entertaining, man. He makes for the best TV. I love that. I love that kid so much. I call him a kid. He's a full-grown man now. But AC, I love that guy so very much. And Malcolm is also so much fun. Those guys are fun, and I wouldn't really call them an underdog story because they both, you know, have a heap of privilege in their lineage and their pedigree and things like that, but still, those guys are so much cool. I love rooting for those 2 guys. Although I don't think Malcolm has any shot of a title. Love Osborne and Marv. Always gonna root for Marv and Zacho. A lot of Eurobike love in here. I like his racecraft. It's old school like RC. That's fair. That's 100% fair. It's interesting to see because you don't really get to find out who people root for and who they don't. I root for AC and Ken. I love that. I love that. Jet Lawrence and Cooper Webb are the ones I love to hate. Tasha, really? You hate Jet Lawrence? That's interesting. Is there any particular reason why? Love to hate Webb and Barsha. Barsha seems like the most polarizing rider, I think, in the entire pits. It seems like he has his fans, but if you're not a Barsha fan, you're a Barsha not fan. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, take or leave Justin Barsha. That's fair. Love Roxanne and AC, not about Webb or Marv. It's interesting too that it seems like people like Webb and Marv or they don't. Not really. I love to hate Webb and the French guy. Well, Harper, there are multiple the French guys in the 450 class this year. Root for Zacho and AC. I don't really care for El Hombre. That's interesting. I think this just goes to show a lot about branding, that everybody has that one thing that they kind of gravitate towards, whatever that may be. So some people, they like the grit. They like the on-track grit. Some people like the off-track shenanigans. Some people like them, the ones that just do the business and get it done. Some people like the guys that are, you know, a little bit more loud and in your face. I will say I was not a Zacho fan. When was that 2017? I think that he parked Savachi for the title, and then in 2018 when he had the bloody nose, and then when he punted AC during practice, like that area. I was not interested in. Like, I did not like him. But since he has become a 450 guy, man, I'm a big fan. Like, I'm a big fan of his work ethic. He's really down to earth. He seems to get it. He's humble. Can definitely show that people can change it. I would love to see Roxon do it this year. Dave, I would also really love to see Roxon do it this year. I just don't know. I just don't know if it's gonna. I don't want to. It's hard to say your window is closed at 26. But I think this goes for all of these guys. I think between Roxon, Eli, Marv, even Osborne, this is probably their last year of being able to have a real good chance, because we're just getting to that point where you've got Sexton and Ferrandis, who are both. I think we could all agree we would be surprised if Sexton and Ferrandis don't turn into the next wave of, AC, Sexton, Ferrandis, and Cooper could very well be the next wave, the next generation of the Eli, Kenny, Anderson, Barsha, I guess, kind of dominance there. And I look forward to it. And then obviously it's not going to be long before we have J-Mart. I mean, we assume, we hope, we expect is going to move up next year. I would be surprised if he doesn't. A-Mart too, for that matter. I don't think no, I love Alex Martin. I love both of the Martin brothers, but I don't think they're going to be like the next top 5 threat. It'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting. I've been doing a little bit of research for you guys. Let me get it pulled up for me. The coasts are still not explicitly decided, but we are starting to get some results rolling in here of who's going to be on which coast. So if you guys, I'm sure you know, but in case you don't, the East 250 coast is going to be the first coast this year. It always starts on the West, but this year we're starting on the East. With that being said, we already know that RJ Hampshire will be competing on the East, with Jalik Swoll and Styles Robinson on the West. Max Voland, the only Red Bull KTM 250 rider, will be on the East. Michael Mosman will be on the East, which would leave his teammate Pierce Brown on the West Coast. It was really interesting. I don't know if you guys saw my tweet, but Star Yamaha actually put 4 of their 6 or possibly 7 riders for the first East round, which is really interesting. So they put everybody on except J-Mart and Thrasher, which I thought was interesting. Because you'd think if they were going to play mind games, they would just put all 7 on again like they've always done. But not this time. This time they've only put 4 up. Do you guys think they're going to split it 3 and 3, or do you think they overload one of the coasts? The Bar X Suzuki squad of Derek Drake and Dylan Schwartz will be on the West Coast. So Josh Osby and Enzo Lopes are Phoenix Honda. They're both going to be on the East, which I'm going to assume would then mean that Mason Gonzalez and Kyle Peters, the other 2 Phoenix guys, will be on the West. It's really cool to see those smaller teams bringing 4 guys on, giving a lot of people jobs. I really appreciate that. Joey Crown will be on the Club MX squad on the West Coast. I wonder if Club then is going to run everybody on the same coast. I would expect to see Garrett Marchbanks and Crown and Jace Owen all on the same coast. So let's go ahead and assume those are all going to be West Coast too. Would you guys prefer, moving forward on this season, how would you guys like to do this? Do you guys want to do a pre-show for fantasy? It would have to be short, because by the time I get the handicaps done and the cheat sheets ready and launched out to you guys on Twitter and everything, would you guys want to do a quick, maybe it would only be 30 minutes, but like a quick 30-minute live stream leading up to the race? Or would you guys rather possibly do a live stream after the race? I know we always kind of joke about having the fantasy support group at the end of every round on Twitter. But would you guys rather do a before show, or would you rather do a recap where we can all bitch and complain about our terrible scores, or gloat in the small chance that we actually do something good that we're proud of? What would you guys prefer to see? Yo, Harvey, what's up, man? Love the idea of a recap show. Okay, we'll try to put that on the board. We'll test it out for test it out for H1. I hate it because I want to say A1 and it's not. We'll do H1. We'll do a recap show. So the race starts at, I have this information somewhere. The race starts at 6 p.m. Eastern, it looks like. That feels like a weird time. Let me double check that. I don't trust that. After race, before I am busy changing picks. Did you guys see on the live show, on the Pulp live show, Mark said that the new tiebreaker, if there's a tie, is gonna be your timestamp. So just beware. That means that if you were to be tied on the cusp of getting a prize, they are going to give the tiebreaker to whoever locked it in first. So you might want to get, that might shy you away a little bit from messing with your picks all the way up until the last second. Or you're going to do it anyway, let's be honest. There's a good chance you're going to do it anyway. And that's fine. That's fine. That's going to be me. Let me double check here. I swear I just saw the TV schedule. I just had it somewhere and now I can't find it. Gate drops at 6 p.m. Okay, 6 p.m. on Peacock. All right. So if the race is on at 6 and it goes for 3 hours, then we'll go ahead and call it 9 o'clock. We'll do it right after the gate strap, or right after the podium speeches. So we'll go ahead and count that in for H1. So here next week, Saturday, a week from today, 9 p.m. Eastern time, whatever time that is for you. As soon as the race is over, switch over to YouTube. We'll have this running again, and we'll talk about it. And we'll complain. We'll go over some stats. That could actually double as you know, I really like doing the post race video, but now we'll have to do something different. How does changing picks last minute actually work? Good question, James. What do you mean though? Like, how does it, like, when does it ever work? It doesn't work. Don't do it. Don't change picks last minute. Please don't. Go with your, oh, I see what you mean. You're saying, does changing your picks last minute actually work? Occasionally. I have a couple, you know what? I have a couple, let's go ahead and talk about it here. For those of you guys that showed up, thank you guys so much for being here. So I will give you guys some insights. I'm probably not gonna have enough time to make this into a video. So count this as sort of a video for you guys. I'll probably make a podcast for it on Patreon. But let's talk about some tips for your H1 team, please. Tip number 1, this is a fantasy tip in general. How many of you guys play fantasy sports of other nature? Do you play fantasy football, fantasy baseball, fantasy hockey, basketball, F1, NASCAR? Let me know if you play a different fantasy format. You will never win your league in the first week. You will never win your league in the first round of a draft, but you will 100% you can lose in the first round. So for H1, I see way too many people want to pick, you know, the Entic Naps or the A-Rays. You see that 11, 13, 16 handicap and you're like, oh, but if they can just make it in the main, I'm guaranteed this many points. No, do not do that, please. For H1, there will be a couple good values and you're gonna find them in the 6 to 9 handicap range. I don't have the handicaps yet. This is just strictly off of my data. 6 to 9, maybe 10 is where you want to look for these kind of values. You want to look for these guys that you know are 100% gonna make the main. That's the first thing. Because a 16 handicap getting in the main automatically means 30 something points. That's great. But if they don't, it's a 0. Where at least if you pick a 6 or 9, those guys are expected to make it in the main. And if they do fail double points, at least you salvage 10 or 15 points. I think that's one thing that a lot of people get wrong is they want to go for broke. They're either gonna just, you know, grip it, rip it, daddy hacks, and if they miss the ball, it's a 0. So please don't pick those guys early. You don't want to put yourself in a big fat hole before the season even starts. Second tip. For your all-star, this goes all season, by the way. I love Adam C. and Cerullo. I love those kind of riders in general, but stay away from the riders that have great flashes of speed. The best kind of all-stars are going to be your Jason Andersons. They're going to be your Marvin Muskins. They're going to be your... I love Jet Lawrence. Jet Lawrence is a bad one. You want to pick those guys that they don't have those flashes of greatness. They're almost maybe even boring to watch. Because sure, Anderson at a 4 handicap could get 7th and you'd be bummed you didn't get maximum points. But he's never going to be lower than 7th unless something terrible happens. You know what I mean? But if you have a person that is a 2 handicap and they have a bad race, that's going to hurt you really bad. What is the average race score to be in the top 100? I can get you that kind of information, actually. So I just barely missed top 100 in Supercross. I was really upset. The worst part about it is when you just barely miss and you know why, you can actually see why. If you want to break into the top 100, you need 3,936 points last year. That's what you would have needed. So if you would have... You need to score 230 a week. That's your target. Your target is 230 a week. Let's assume that you score 45 out of your All-Stars every weekend. Then that means you need, on average, 31 points from the rest of your riders. So what does that mean? How do we get 31 points? Well, 8th place, an 8th place finish after handicap would give you 30 points. So if you have a 2 handicap and you finish 10th, that would lead you with 8. That's your target. You don't want to look for guys that you expect to finish in the top 10 after handicap. You want to look for the guys that you can realistically see them finishing 7th or 8th or better. That's going to be your sweet spot. I see way too many people that say, all right, he's a 7 handicap, so I just need him to get 17th. You don't want 26 points. If you wanted 26 points, we would all just pick All-Stars. Because All-Stars have a way higher rate of getting 26 points every single race. This is amazing. This is how I pick. This is how I do everything. I will actually put a spreadsheet together. And instead of figuring out everybody's 10th, I would see how close people are already getting that 7th and 8th range. That's where you want to be. Safe. Yes, safe with quotes around it. Safe All-Stars. There is no such thing, but there is also such thing. The 450 field is so stacked, there's going to be a lot of good non-All-Stars. There absolutely will, Hood. So we were just going over it. I don't know if you were here, but there are 25 people that are going to be extremely disappointed if they miss the H1 main. We have Tomac and AC, Webb and Muskin, Osborne, Anderson, Dean Wilson, Roxon Sexton, Malcolm, Plessinger, and Ferrandis and Barsha, factory bikes. Then we've got Savachi and Bogle. McElrath, Tickle, Benny Bloss, Vince Freezy, which we now know McElrath will probably miss H1. Justin Brayton, that's 20 riders right there. Then you've got Hartraft, Anstey, Martin Davalos, Kyle Chisholm, that's 24. And then you throw in Adam Entignap, Alex Ray. Now we're up to 26, 27 guys. I feel like a lot of privateers decided to go 450 because the 250 is always very hard to beat because the difference from a stock 250 to a factory 250 is a much greater distance than a privateer 450 to a factory. But man, I would not want to race against these guys. Absolutely not. That's not including Tyler Bowers, a guy that makes every main that he enters. It's just gonna be insane. I think this year there is gonna be a way lower chance of doubling your points every single week. There's gonna be a lot less. You're gonna have to ride the hot hand of, is Justin Hill racing? James, we have not seen anything about Justin Hill. I know multiple people have put out feelers about Justin, and we have seen nothing. We also have seen nothing about Blake Baggett. It's honestly just surreal how two guys... I know this was Steve's Race Tech rant from last week, but how do we not know who's racing? And this isn't even just a 250 coast issue. How have you just not come out and said, hey, not racing? They're on social media. Justin Hill's been posting up videos on his story for weeks. I don't know, man. It would be a real shame if Justin Hill calls it a career. But it also just seems like his heart's not in it, and that's okay. Maybe it's not. I'm sure he's not the only one I feel this way. I'm sure you guys have felt this way. Sometimes you just don't want to do the thing anymore. It's not fun anymore. All the training, all of the traveling, it could all just be not fun anymore. And I wouldn't blame him if he felt that way. Are you guys going to any races in 2021? I still haven't heard back yet, but I'm hoping to get press credentials for Indy, which would be really great. So we live about 2.5 hours from Indy in Central Ohio. And we will be going to Indy. I'm going to Indy 1 with my wife, and I'm going to Indy 2 with one of my best friends. I will be there the entire time. I'll be there from like Thursday to Wednesday, like 6 days straight. But she'll be with me for the first 3 days, and then she's gonna drive home, and he's gonna drive to Indy, and then he'll be with me there for the last 3 days. We have some pretty good tickets. I don't know what it was like for you guys getting tickets, but the way they're doing the bubble seating now, it's really hard, because if you have 2 tickets, there's only so many bubbles of 2 to choose from, which was very difficult to find good seats. The last 2 years, I've had no problem getting literally front row. And this time there were no front row available at all. And then where they, each section had, all right, this section front row only has 4 seats, and you have to buy 4 of them in a bundle to get it. And it's just awful. Did anybody watch Arenacross last night? It's more expensive than Peacock, so I did not. But I saw that Kyle Peters won pretty handedly in both classes, which hopefully means that I hope that he has a good year at Supercross. I really do. I want to say Kyle's a good kid. He's like 29. Does anybody else completely miss how old the riders are all the time? All we know is that the Martin brothers and Craig need to get out of the class, but beyond that, we all have no idea how old they are. At least 1, if not 2, of the ATL races. Hood, they haven't announced tickets yet for those, have they? I still can't believe that they haven't actually put the tickets on sale for half the rounds. Yeah, Arlington. All they have is up to Arlington. So then Atlanta is 13, 14, 15. Then SLC is 16, 17, I think. I'm excited. I'm excited. Do you have any idea, B, how they're going to do it? Because I know that it's at Atlanta Motor Speedway this year. It's not in the Dome. And I wonder, are they going to have it on the infield grass like Daytona? It'll be weird to have that layout potentially 3 times. 4 times. I don't know. Because they could put the track anywhere. They don't have to put it there like they do in Daytona. They do that in Daytona so that the flat track can also run in that area. but there's no reason that they couldn't put the track in Atlanta on the concrete, like on the actually use the embankment, because they're not gonna have NASCAR running the same week. Or they could put it in the infield somewhere completely separately. I don't know. It could be really interesting though. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with it. Oh, I can't remember. I had all the track maps somewhere. Now I can't. Well, I say all the track maps. They still don't have track maps for those last few rounds. So while I look this up, let me tell you guys real quick about the Patreon. Total plug here. But if you guys don't know, Patreon is a service in which you can support content creators, and it's a way that you don't have to directly give contribution from you to them. It can kind of go through another thing so that it handles like a subscription service. But the cool thing about Patreon is it allows creators to then give you guys back special rewards, special incentives for it that are super easy for us to implement. So one thing that we do, I started the Patreon for the outdoor season last year. And the one major thing is it has the enhanced cheat sheet. So you guys know the cheat sheet that I give out every year. It looks something like, forgive me, this scene is gonna be super messy, so don't judge it, but it looks like this. So it will have, you know, each person's name, their qualifying time, their position, their handicap, and their score. So, and then what heat they're going to be in. That's the normal one. And then for the enhanced cheat sheet, I actually will give you so much more information. I wish I had a picture of one. Can I pull something up here maybe? It's gonna look more like, let me get this here. Give me screen capture. Display capture. So it's gonna look more like this. So you're gonna have your rider, your number, what session they were in, qualifying time, qualifying position, their handicap, if their handicap went up or down from last one, if they're an all-star, their last motos, this was for outdoor, their average finish qualifying, their average start, how much did they DNF, what was their last result at the last 3 races. Like this is how much more information than the regular one has. So this is something that I put out just for the Patreon subscribers. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you want more content, that's for you. And then also I do a podcast every week. As soon as the handicaps drop, I literally hit record, I open up the Pulp MX Fantasy website, and I look at the handicaps and I talk about them in real time. So these are like actual cerebral instinct of just looking at it, looking at the name, looking at the number, and my first instinct of like, is this a good or a bad handicap? Before I do like gobs and gobs of research. Those are the type of thing that you can expect on Patreon. I am so ready. This is my first year paying. Jack, did you play last year but you didn't pay? Dude, it's so much fun. It really, I think the one thing about it that makes it cool is it gives you a reason to care about every rider, every race, which is really nice to do. Even if you aren't interested, like let's say you get all 8 of your guys out of the heat race and you don't have to go to the LCQ, it still gives you a rooting, almost betting interest in the LCQ, because if nothing else, you're at least hoping the riders that you know have a high pick trend are not gonna make it, because that's gonna hurt other people's scores since it has no effect on you. It really adds, it does make it much more stressful, but it makes each race meaningful, and I love that so much. Sorry if I missed it, but for Peacock, what's the difference? So, JS Agron, I'm not sure. Let me know what you want. Let me know how you want me to how you want me to pronounce that. It's I honestly don't. They're not clear about it. So for the $10 one, it appears that there are limited ads on certain things at the $5. In the $10, it appears that there are no ads at all. I'm not entirely sure how many ads we might be dealing with, or if those would happen like on Supercross, or if that's just certain shows. Also, if you guys are up for it, if you purchased an entire year of Peacock, so you have to click, there's somewhere on the screen, look around for it before you hit submit. Instead of $5 a month, you can get the whole year for $50, which would be like getting 2 months free. I know also you could just not do it because it'd be cheaper for month, but if that's something you want to, definitely check that out. That's what I did. I can totally pay $50. I paid, I think, 90 for Supercross and Motocross last year. $50 is still half price, and also you get all of the other Peacock things. I am not an NBC shill. They pay me no money to do this. Are you gonna do the downloadable sheet on Patreon this season? Austin, yes. When you say downloadable, do you want the actual spreadsheet that is sortable? Is that what you mean, or do you mean just the sheet like I do the normal sheet? I would like to do a downloadable. It's just a little bit more intricate. And last year, the biggest thing about outdoor is there was not nearly as much time between when practice ended and when the first moto started. So I had to get everything done in like 45 minutes. Whereas for Supercross, as long as they don't change the schedule any from last year, I had an hour and a half. So I had a lot more time to get everything done and then release it. So hopefully, if that's the case, we can do that again. Go A-Ray. Absolutely go A-Ray. How many mains do you guys think A-Ray makes this year? Any friendly wagers in chat? Let me see how many he made last year. I'm going to say 10. What do you guys think? That sound about right? Last year, A-Ray made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He made 9. He made 9. 8, 6, 6 to 9, 6, 9, nice. Being able to sort it. Okay, I will, Austin, I would love to do that. I'm not gonna make a absolute promise here, but I would actually really like to make a sortable version of it, yes. I'll see what I can do. Oh, something else that I'm adding for the Patreon, and this would probably make it easier, is I have a Discord created. Anybody that's a Patreon member, I will be messaging you shortly to get your information if you have Patreon, so that you can get added to that. That way you guys can, all of the Patreons can have your own place to talk fantasy specifically. Nothing against the fantasy channel and the pulp Patreon, or the pulp Discord. I'm sorry, I'm creating a Discord for the Patreon people for just fantasy. The one in the pulp is fun, but there's a lot of nonsense in that server also. It's very entertaining, but if you actually want to talk amongst yourselves and say, I'm thinking about taking so-and-so, what do you guys think? That way you guys can all kind of work together as a team a little bit to get that together, even if I'm not available. Hey, Paige, can you come in, open the door? Glad to hear you decided to do the Discord. Yes, so that's up. Also, something else that I have is I have a voice channel in there. So if you guys want to, and this is totally optional, nobody has to do it. If you guys are watching Supercross alone, if you're alone at home and watching it, you guys can jump into the voice comms and you can again talk to the other Patreon guys together. So that way it's almost like you're with your friends. I don't know what it's like for you guys for social distancing type of things, but my two friends, we actually just moved and now I'm 45 minutes away from the two buddies that I normally watch Supercross with. So it's being able to do voice chat while you're watching it is really cool, because we can't do it, you know, we can't do it ourselves anymore. I would like to be in there if I can. I'll definitely pop in and chat with you guys if you guys decide to use that. I might not be in there the whole time, because I'm not gonna lie to you, after I spend all the time all day doing the handicaps and doing all of that, it's really nice to just sit back and watch the race comfortably and casually and calmly by myself. It's kind of nice. JS Agronomist, but also known as Softball Dad. Softball Dad, okay. It's really cool to see all of your guys' names. What are your guys' names? If you haven't told me already, what is your guys' username on the Pulp website or on Twitter or wherever we talk? It's so cool to see your guys' names pop up over and over again. This always makes me so nervous, so I end up just chugging energy drinks, which then makes me a little bit hyper, which makes me want to chug more energy drinks. Ichiman 18. Okay. Chris, do you follow on Twitter? I don't know if that's your name on Twitter or not. Tiller3321 everything. Okay. It's just so cool to see all of your guys' name pop up all the time, and when you comment on stuff, and then I almost feel like I get to know you guys a little bit. It's really cool. No, okay, that's just your Pulp name. Got it. I will also be I'll be cleaning out the Pulp, or I'm sorry, the Roto League on Pulp, and I'm gonna create a brand new one. So be sure to join that. I will definitely post everywhere that I can to let you guys know that. But we had like up to 125 people in there, and I want to get it back down to just, you know, the people that listen this year. Oh, I ran out of time. If any of you guys have any leads on any kind of sponsorship type things, I want to get some prizes for the Roto League, exclusively for the Roto listeners. So that's something that I'm looking forward to doing this year at some point too. Maybe we will. I would, if leagues are a thing for the Moto X Dream Fantasy, I will definitely have a league created over there. I want to see the 722 make every main. Can I just talk to you guys really quick about 722 and A-Ray? When they were on the HEP team 2 years ago, I went to Indy, me and my cousin, and there was a rider signing before the day, and we met almost everybody. I think Honda, KTM, and Husqvarna were not there. There was another dealership. So this was Suzuki, Yamaha, Kawasaki, and like privateers. And we walked down the line and we met everybody, and they signed, and everybody just did the thing, and they were all nice guys. But then we got to A-Ray and 7 Deuce Deuce, and I was holding my GoPro in my hand, but like kind of against my chest. Like I wasn't really using it. I just had it on and in my hand. And A-Ray literally just takes my GoPro out of my hand, and then just starts just interviewing 7 Deuce Deuce, and he just like comes over and looks at Justin Hill. I think it was Justin Hill at the time that was next to him. And that was just so cool. Like those guys are just, they really make it easy to love the sport, because they clearly are having the best time. Like they're living their absolute dream just by them happening to be a professional rider. It's so cool, and I just can't say enough good things about those guys. I hope that I can maybe do a pod with both of them. I really want to do a podcast with other riders, and I want to ask them about fantasy. Like, how does it feel? Like, obviously, Deuce, A-Ray, Chiz, Jerry Robin, guys like that, I think have benefited positively because they're such fantasy darlings. People love to pick them. I think it's helped their stock so much. But I also want to talk to other riders. I know that Jason Anderson has come out publicly to say, I don't care about your fantasy team. And I love that he said that, even if we don't want to hear it. I love that he's like, don't come up to me and tell me about your fantasy team. I don't care. Thanks for help last year with everything that was going on. Help. If you got number 59, dude, that's rad. Last year was rough for me, especially the outdoor season. I was very distracted, and it was rough. I thought I was gonna get a national number, and there were just 2 or 3 weeks that I completely blew it. Hold on a second. the other cat wanted out. Also, okay, so another shameless plug. I feel bad. But this is winding down. I'm gonna try to do this for an hour. When we do this, I'll do it for an hour so that everybody can pop in. It's really hard to talk this long with nothing to really like stimulate myself. One last thing that we have is I want to show you guys the website really quick. It's this one. There you go. So RotoMoto .co is the website. I built this. It's quick. It's just a Wix site, so please be nice. But it's very simple. But this is somewhere that if you want to have this on your phone as a tab saved open or whatever it may be, I love you guys coming to YouTube directly and subscribing to YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that. But here I will have, you just go to rotomoto.co. I will have every video. The most recent video will be up here all the time, so you have quick access to it. One click here to take you to Twitter. One click here takes you to Patreon. But also the merch page is brand new, so you can click there and do merch. We've already sold a couple pieces. Thank you guys so much if you're in here, the people that already bought. It was really cool. I spent a lot of time working on these designs, so I hope you guys can like one of them. Let me know what you think. Also, make sure to hover over all of them because most of them come in multiple colors or multiple styles. And if there's anything that you would like to see other than this, please let me know. This one is a RotoMoto Fantasy Support Group t-shirt. It says it on the small text there. It's also on the hoodie, Fantasy Support Group. But yeah, book bag, hat, beanie, long sleeve, short sleeves, and hoodies. I kind of got the bases covered. But if you want to see a particular design or you guys want to see a particular item, let me know. I can add it. Graphic design is my passion. Hashtag graphic design is my passion. 450 is stacked. James, you couldn't be more right. It's actually insane how stacked the 450s can be. Is there anything that you guys want to see before I go this season? Is there anything that you guys want to see in particular out of RotoMoto? Do you want podcasts with particular people? Do you want podcasts from riders? Do you want podcasts with industry guys? I would like to get a pod. Maybe I can get another one with Travis Marks. That'd be really cool. I got Denny Stevenson. I want to do Dan. I want to do Dan, Paul, JT, and Steve. I think Steve and JT might be a little bit of a stretch. Those guys are really busy, especially once the season started. But I think that'd be really cool. I want to talk about fantasy, how this started, what it means to them, what do they actually do, how involved are they. And then, you know, some other writers, some other maybe team managers. Like, what does this mean to you guys? Some Feld people even. That would be really cool. Boom shirt ordered. Marks, I appreciate it. What did you get, man? Which one did you snag? I guess I can go and look. It's not like I don't have a back door access to it. Orders. There's an orders. There it is. Orders. Stacks and word mark. Awesome. Hell yeah, dude. I appreciate it so much. Thank you absolutely so much. We just top fantasy picks, aka what not to do. So I have this homebrew. I don't have nearly enough clout to get these guys involved, but let me just say, I would love to do this. So I have this homebrew fantasy that I do with a couple buddies where we draft riders. So those of you guys that have played other fantasy sports, normally in a fantasy thing, you don't do daily, you don't pick every week. You get the same team for the whole year. So we would actually draft riders. So whoever you get the first pick. Who would you guys be if you're playing fantasy where you own a rider for the entire season? Who's your #1 guy off the board? Who do you think will score the absolute most points for the entire season? So like if you did this, I would pick Eli, #1. And then it would go down the list and all 6 teams would pick. And then we flip it. So in the second round, I get the last pick. So yeah, I get Eli, but then my second pick is the 12th guy off the board. I want to do that with with Wygant so bad because I feel like he'd have no excuses because the scoring is simple. There's no handicaps. You don't have to pick him every day. You literally just draft your team and start them every week. And I just really wish that I could get it to do it. That sounds fun. Marks, you want to do it? You want to do it? Let's see if we can't see if you can pull some and get some industry guys in, because I am 100% in if you are. And that way, yeah, that way you don't have to set it every week. If one of your guys gets hurt, so the way that we do it is you draft 3 from each class, but you only play 2 each week. So if you have, you know, Eli, Brayton, and Heartraft, then you're probably going to start Eli and Brayton every week. But if one of them gets hurt, at least you have Heartraft as a backup. And then if you have 2 guys that are hurt, that's the only time that you need to like manage your team, in which case you would say, hey, I need to drop so-and-so so that I can get a new guy because my guys are hurt. But I just thought it'd be really cool to do one with, you know, Racer X people, Pulp people, maybe get like swap people in, kind of get that together. But it's a lot of fun. We just play for, right now we do with my friends, we do $50 and then winner takes pot. Second person gets their money back and winner takes pot. Justin Brayton, you would take Justin Brayton number one, or do you mean Weege would take Justin Brayton number 1? You know what, Samantha, do you prefer Samantha or Sam or Sammy? Let me know. I think you're right. I think Weege would actually do worse at that than Pulp, because he would not pick with his brain, he would pick with his heart, and he would 100% take Justin Brayton number 1 overall. And I love JB, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that I think JB might be there still in round 2. How much is Patreon? James, I'm sorry I missed your message. So Patreon is a set amount each month, and you can actually choose what level you want to do. So we have an option for $5 a month. That's just to be a supporter. That has the least amount of perks, but that's more just a, hey, Donnie, I thank you so much for doing RotoMoto and putting this time into making the cheat sheets and stuff every week. I really appreciate it. Here's a couple dollars. Buy yourself a taco. And then there's a $10 option that's like, here's 10, and that's the one where you start getting a ton of perks. And then I just put one up for 20 for anybody that's interested. And the $20 one I just enacted yesterday. That one I will send you a t-shirt that nobody else is allowed to have. It's a Patreon exclusive t-shirt. So if you want to feel like that kind of person that nobody else, you know, oh yeah, you think you're a big Roto fan? Well, show me your Patreon t-shirt. They won't have one. But it also will be one where when I have an idea, I'm going to run it by that group and say, hey, I was thinking about making a video on this. What do you think? Also, another thing I forgot to mention, I'm going to start doing Patreon streams too, streaming directly into the Patreon Discord. So if you're a Patreon member and you use Discord, I will stream things in there. So when I'm working on videos, you guys want to see some behind the scenes type stuff, you guys want to see me working on stuff, that'll be an option for you. Tacos. Marks, we actually just tried yesterday. We moved and there's a permanent taco truck down the street. Like, it's always there. It moves occasionally, but it's permanently, that's their spot. We tried it last night and it's like some of the best tacos I've ever had, and they're really cheap, and it's like half a block walk, and it's going to be really dangerous. I think as soon as I'm done with this live stream, I'm going to walk down and get some tacos. I'll get some for you, buddy. I'll get some. What do you like? Do you want chorizo? Do you want pork? Do you want barbacoa? You let me know. I got you. Well, it's 5:30. I've been on here an hour. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap that up if you guys don't mind. Thank you so much for being here for the first live stream. Please, if you could, let me know. Let me know on Twitter. I know you could tell me now, but tell me on Twitter because it will help the algorithm and all that jazz. But let me know if you guys like the live show. We will plan on doing another one after the race next weekend, Saturday after H1. We'll do another live show right here on YouTube. Until then, look out for the videos. I hope I have that Denny Stevenson podcast for you guys early next week. I have another video that I want to have out early next week, and then you guys can expect the Pulp MX Fantasy video to be out later next week, hopefully Thursday or Friday. But my name is Donnie. This has been RotoMoto live show #1, and I will see you guys next week. Stay safe out there. Things are a little bit wild. Stay safe out there. Be good people. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.